All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today is a massive day for crypto on the whole. We've already seen an explosion of green on the charts. We got Bitcoin going to all-time highs, Ethereum going to all-time highs. All the coins are just raging right now. Okay, so I'm talking about why in this video, what you need to know and what you need to watch out for. All right, we're gonna talk about that, a lot of other developments in the crypto space that have happened since our live stream yesterday, answering some of your questions and a lot more. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We've got Nardia, Darcy J, Cryptechology, hope I'm saying that right. Average Joe, Game Elevator, Manish, awesome, welcome. So today is a major day for the crypto markets, cryptocurrency industry, everything on the whole. If you joined us for our live stream yesterday, and if you haven't, turn on notifications down below, bookmark in your calendar. We do these live streams Monday through Friday about 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Getting started a little bit late here today, but we generally try to start around 9:30. Yesterday, we're talking about this, how you need to watch out for this for today. And the day has come. So today is the Coinbase IPO. All right. So it's a direct listing to the NASDAQ. I think yesterday I said New York Stock Exchange. I misspoke. Somebody corrected me in the comments. Thank you for doing that. So yes, Coinbase, the #1 cryptocurrency exchange in the United States, is having their IPO, the direct listing to the NASDAQ today. So we've been talking about this, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. What's it going to do to the crypto markets? Well, today it's pretty clear that it's got a major effect for the prices today. All right, so we've seen everything pretty much go up like crazy. Of course, we've seen a little bit of a correction here over the last hour or so. So what's going to happen with this long term? All right, is this a short-term pump? Are we going to see a fake out and see prices nuke downward after? Are people buying the rumor, selling the news? Or is this really a sign of something that's bigger to come that's going to be fuel on this fire to make this bull market rage harder? So we talked about this yesterday. Like, what are the possibilities? So we could have people basically who are part of Coinbase or who are cashing out, rotating into crypto. We could see people who are in institutions, or not institutions, but more traditional investors try to get exposure of cryptocurrency through Coinbase, or Coinbase is bringing more attention to the cryptocurrency industry, people buying cryptocurrency that way. Or is it a buy the rumor, sell the news situation? Are people, is everybody thinking the same way? And then we don't have this massive price appreciation like we think we do, kind of like what happened with the CME in 2017. Time will tell. But today, things look really good. So let's go check on the prices. Bitcoin, let's see here. New all-time high. All right. So we hit it yesterday, or not yesterday, just recently. Okay. New all-time high of $64,787. Okay. Yeah, it's looking bullish. Let's look at for Ethereum as well. Yeah, new all-time high. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, $2,399. All right, let's look at, everything else. It's just a sea of green across the board. With a few exceptions, right? This USDC thing, it's just stable, right? That's a joke. If anybody doesn't know, USDC is a stable coin pegged to the US dollar. So yeah, things look really great for today. So as always, not financial advice. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, or later today. This could be a thing where people are so hyped up and so anticipated about it that it does the opposite of what people are thinking, or the price could go down. It's something you realistically need to watch out for. Nobody knows for sure. Trying to chase short-term price moves like this based on what could happen is a really risky game. And so I personally, of course, not financial advice, I'm not really doing anything in light of this information. I'm not buying, I'm not selling. I mean, basically what I'm doing almost every day when we're watching these videos, which is just nothing, just sitting comfy in my positions. Now, that being said, I have, built my positions a long time ago. I have added to them a little bit over time, but for the most part, I'm comfy where I am. So let's look at some on-chain metrics. One thing that's concerned me a little bit about this is, is the market heating up? Is it getting frothier with the anticipation of this particular event? So we'll look at some on-chain metrics. We'll look at the Nupal chart, try to determine the health of the overall market. Of course, this is 1 day behind. So I was looking at this yesterday, trying to think like, hey, is this going to basically make the Nupal chart, go up? Like, are we gonna lose headroom here? And we have. So It's not like an insane amount. So if anybody's, new around here, what is Newple am I looking at here? So this is on-chain metrics. So again, I'm not a big trader. I'm not a TA guy. I don't like to try to predict where the price is going to be by a specific dollar amount, by a specific amount of time. I'm always trying to think about the long term, and are we headed in a good direction? And am I, invested in something that's probably going to outperform other things? That kind of stuff, right? So one tool I really like is checking the overall health of the market, which helps me determine like, should I be putting more money into the market? Should I be taking money out? And one of those tools is on-chain metrics. So of course, one of the reasons I like this is, of course, I am a blockchain developer, so I work the chain itself. I understand it pretty well, and you can derive insights from the chain, like how many people hold Bitcoin, how long have they held it, are they in profit, what percentage of the network is in profit or haven't taken money out compared to their losses. And that's like what this metric looked at, basically. Without getting into too many details, basically blue is bad. Blue means that a lot of people are, psychologically speaking, are ready to take some money off the table. It usually indicates euphoric phases. And every time we see euphoria, pretty much every time we see some sort of long-term price correction. So when we get closer to this blue line here, is when we want to try to stay away from that. So we're moving that direction. We could see some chop. We could see some up and down sort of stochastic motion here, which is always healthy for the market because it means, some people do experience loss. And that helps us have higher headroom. So that sucks. People lose money, but some of those people also are short-term traders. They very well know the risk they're taking in order to get to that level. So, it's not always just like unassuming people who are buying into the market and losing. Some of it is, but sometimes it's also short-term traders who are trading on leverage. They know what they're getting themselves into. So let's go ahead and look at some other pretty big news. Well, before we do that, so kind of tying a bow up on the Coinbase stuff. As always, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. This is really bullish short term. Everybody looks really positive. There's a ton of excitement, but just that little grain of caution is sometimes when everybody's thinking the same way, it could go the opposite of what you expect. Now I hope it doesn't. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I don't want to be the bear among the bulls, but I also do like to be careful. So I'm mostly saying that for people who are just like coming in, watching this and saying, oh, now I'm gonna like jump in and buy. Of course, not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or not to buy, but it's just something to think about for your own research. So let's look at the other news that I was talking about here, which is for Ethereum. Pretty big deal here. So we're seeing support in a fundraise of $65 million from several people, but among the names are Mastercard and JP Morgan Chase. Okay, for the Ethereum ecosystem. So what is this? Well, this is for Consensus. Consensus is basically they're responsible for a lot of the tooling and infrastructure in the Ethereum space. So if you use MetaMask, supported by Consensus, and Fura for running Ethereum nodes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see this whole thread here. A lot of the development tools that I show you on this channel, Truffle, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So Consensus is a big part of this, and they raise a bunch of money from different people for basically to further the Ethereum ecosystem. So some of this is for enterprise Ethereum for sure, which is kind of a little bit of a different beast from public Ethereum. But we're seeing different companies try to experiment with blockchain technology and how they want to use it. What solutions are best for them. But basically the whole point here is a big bet on the Ethereum ecosystem itself and how it can be used for different things. And when you see this kind of money flow in the space, number one, it's a huge validation for the technology itself. That these companies take this very seriously. They want to put all this kind of money towards that type of project. And number two is even if some of this goes towards like more enterprise-based solutions, the entire Ethereum ecosystem is going to benefit from the tooling that comes out of this. It's going to benefit from it in many, many, many ways. So let's take a look at what Mastercard in particular put out by it. So Mastercard put out a statement about this as well. Partnership with Consensus supports the future of multi-blockchain commerce. Okay, so I have a feeling this is no accident. Seeing as Visa, has started their experiment with USDC payments on top of Ethereum. So we talked about that a few weeks ago. So basically, Visa has started a way to actually do crypto payments under the hood with Visa card transactions in their collaboration with Crypto.com. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, we've seen crypto credit cards in the past, which are essentially ways for people to buy cryptocurrency, hold it in a bank account, and then make credit card transactions. And then whenever that transaction happens, they basically just sell your crypto. And then it uses the same infrastructure that other credit cards do to make the payments between the merchant and the seller. Okay, so let's say you go to Starbucks, you take a credit card, you have Bitcoin, in your bank account or in your credit card account, debit card account, whatever it is, and then you swipe it. Okay, you swipe it at a Starbucks, right? And then you pay for coffee. What it's doing under the hood is selling your Bitcoin, but then buying the coffee with the same payment rails that pretty much every other credit card uses. So what's different about this is basically Visa's solution uses cryptocurrency payments under the hood. So like you hold USDC in your account, and when you go there, you basically swipe it, and the settlement is actually done on the blockchain, which is major. It's using blockchain technology to settle the payments and not the old legacy financial rails that other credit cards are using. So that's huge. Basically, that's a massive validation for the Ethereum tech itself, because people are experimenting with Ethereum payments, actually experimenting building on top of the blockchain to do some sort of payment solution rather than just like a grafted on solution to where you can hold cryptocurrency, then sell it with some other piece of technology. Okay, so that was kind of a long explanation, but I'm trying to connect the dots here that we're seeing Mastercard jump in for their effort in a partnership to try to explore the future of multi-blockchain commerce. So I don't think this is a complete accident that this is shortly after the Visa announcement. Okay, I think a lot of these credit card companies, legacy banks, et cetera, are trying to figure out this blockchain thing. How can we use it? How can we leverage the technology and basically bridge over to it? And so this is something that I think is really important for people to understand. Is we talk about DeFi a lot, how DeFi basically can be the future of finance. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like. We don't know if it means basically it completely replacing the financial infrastructure that we have now, or just being a good alternative to what we have now. If we're talking about replacing the financial infrastructure, it doesn't have to be like DeFi eats all the old traditional financial companies. What's a very possible scenario is that we create something that they can bridge over to and build off of, which they will be incentivized to do in order to stay relevant. You know what I mean? So I think we're seeing that type of thing happen with these credit card companies, with these different banks that are trying to say, hey, we got to take this blockchain thing seriously. Okay. So I think we'll see more of this to come. We got Visa, we got Mastercard. Maybe we'll see something about American Express soon. No, I don't know for sure. I'm just kind of speculating here. I don't have any hot leads or anything, but this doesn't look a trend. It doesn't look like it's an accident that this is, so close in proximity to the other announcement we saw before. So another thing I want to look at here is an interesting thread that I saw about Binance Smart Chain. So we talk about this a lot. We talked about our stream on Monday that basically Binance token is pumped like crazy. People are super excited about Binance Smart Chain because it's cheap to use. It's fast. People like low transaction fees, especially for trading tokens. A lot of people are priced out of trading on Uniswap who are smaller traders. I totally get that frustration. Some people like to look at Binance Smart Chain as an answer to that. We talked about how it's very different from Ethereum. I mean, it's very similar in one sense that it basically just is a fork of Ethereum with some settings changed that allow it to achieve the scalability that it has, the faster transactions, cheaper transactions. Okay. But it does make trade-offs. We talk about trade-offs in decentralization, and also that this can actually lead to some potential problems down the road, technically speaking. So we saw this kind of thread following around on Twitter. So they're talking about Pancake Swap info being delayed by 1 million blocks. This is basically somebody talking about how they're trying to read from the chain itself. But I don't want to get too far into this because I know there's a lot of like, gossip and like fighting happening in these tweet threads. That's not what I'm trying to get into. But one point I am trying to try to highlight is we've seen this other problem in the past where basically people try to solve the scalability problem for blockchains by essentially centralizing or centralizing the consensus protocol more so, like way less decentralized, a much smaller number of nodes, and increasing the state size. The problem is whenever the state size gets big enough, it starts to become so unwieldy that it's really hard to work with. And there could be a potential problem where, like down the road, it gets hard for people to even scale up the resources on their validator nodes to even run the chain itself. So I'm not saying this is like a death nail or anything like that, but we are seeing like the pains of this right now in real time with some of these chains that try to become more centralized than their decentralized counterparts that try to basically fix the scalability problem by just increasing the block size and letting more transactions in. When that happens, you have a whole lot of transactions, and sometimes it's really, really, really hard to actually work with those in an efficient way. So that's just something to watch out for long term. Like I said, I'm not a hater of Binance Smart Chain or anything like that. I show people how to like port their contracts from Ethereum over to Binance Smart Chain. It's just you have to know what you're getting yourself into when you do that. Okay. And of course, long term, I'm super bullish on layer 2 scaling solutions with ETH as an answer to what's been happening with Binance Smart Chain. And we saw more about that yesterday. So, and also today. So I talked about basically a new solution that was, kind of hyped up on Twitter, which was, ZK Sync porting your contracts over to a zero knowledge based solution. So we saw an answer to this by Vitalik Buterin himself, of course, the mastermind behind Ethereum, sort of like, picking apart the arguments for this. So yesterday we showed a tweet where we're talking about ZK Sync, trying to end the debate between optimistic rollups or optimistic solutions for scaling Ethereum and then ZK versions. So this is a lot of technical jargon. I'll try to explain this for people who are watching who don't maybe quite understand what's going on here. So layer 2 scaling solutions is building a second layer on top of Ethereum to help it scale, to reduce the fees, make it faster to use. All the stuff is being actively developed. People talk about Ethereum being too slow, too expensive. Well, this is the answer for the short, mid, and long term, okay? We'll even have layer 2 scaling solutions when Ethereum 2.0 arrives. So basically, I've been really bullish about optimistic rollups, basically, being a solution for people to add scalability, move their contracts over to this really fast. Okay, and we saw something come out yesterday talking about, ZK Sync being a solution where people could also do this really fast and then leverage zero knowledge-based solutions, which long-term seem to be a favored pick. But Vitalik kind of chimed in on this. So he was talking about, he kind of picked this apart a little bit. You can go check it out on Reddit, but it's about the ZK Porter having a stronger security guarantees and optimistic rollups. He's saying this is false. He kind of gives the reasons why. You can go read this. His TLDR here is that optimistic rollups are fine. And I know that's not really very hypey language that some people really want to hear. Like people want this emphatic, answer as to what the perfect solution is. But he's still excited about optimistic rollups. By the same token, for me, it's hard to argue with him. So let's just see what happens with this long term. But the scaling wars are no doubt heating up. Okay, this is a big hard nut to crack, and there's so much upside for a solution to come in and become a predominant scaling paradigm for Ethereum. There's such a huge opportunity here that we're no doubt going to see. We already are seeing lots of people come to the table and fight about this because they're all jockeying for position. They want to, battle one another to be one of the household names for how people use Ethereum. Because if it does become, if it truly does become a global financial settlement layer, if we do have things like Visa coming in and building long-term payment solutions on top of Ethereum with layer 2s and Ethereum 2.0, if we do see, a lot of traditional finance starting to run on top of something like Ethereum, for example, if that really is the long-term upside, then you've got people who are, they're not pulling any punches when they're trying to race to become one of the top people in that space. Okay. So we're going to see this happen a lot. So that at the end of the day, I do think that having multiple ways of doing layer 2 scaling is going to be a must for Ethereum long term because it needs to preserve the decentralized ethos of the space, where people need options on what to do because it's not really Ethereum itself. It derives its security from Ethereum, but we want to have a couple different ways to actually scale the underlying blockchain. And I think we will see that, but I don't think that we'll see just like a world where we have dozens of ways to do this and they all have an equal market share. Just like I don't think we'll have dozens of blockchains that all do the same thing that have equal market share. We'll probably see a consolidation of really specific use cases with strong network effects that get a majority of the market share. So maybe like a handful of maybe a couple layer twos that really went out longer. That's what I think. So we'll wait and see. All right, so we got some questions in the chat here. Let's see here. So will Berlin hard fork tomorrow help lower gas fees? Let's see here. So let me know what you think down in the chat below. Do you think we're going to see a massive change in the Coinbase? With Coinbase, we're going to see a massive change in crypto prices that we are today. Let's go back and check to see what they've done the last few minutes we've been on the stream here. I'm just kind of waiting for it to see like some sort of fake out. I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm trying to be cautious here. Somebody in the chat says they are a financial advisor. Go buy Doge. Go all in. That's not financial advice. I'm not saying that. I'm just reading a funny comment. All right, so let's take a look here. See, I'm not seeing any kind of major dumps yet. So we need lower gas fees on ETH. Yep, we sure do. Somebody says, what will happen if the majority of the miners don't update Ethereum? Yeah, that's a good question. So I'll talk about this later. I'm going to release a video about Ethereum 2.0 probably later today. This is a good question. So it's about a chain fork. Like, what's going to happen if some people like this is what a fork is. So Ethereum 2.0 is being developed right now. It's the new and improved version of Ethereum that gets the blockchain ready for prime time. It makes it much more fast, much more scalable. And at some point, we are going to start using that instead of Ethereum 1.0 that we have today. So basically, if you're using Ethereum 2.0, or you're using Ethereum using Ethereum 1.0 today, eventually we're going to move to Ethereum 2.0. Some people think that whenever that happens, that Ethereum 1.0 will stay behind and Ethereum 2.0 will, go on and do its thing. That's a fork. Basically, there's a fork in the road. People say, hey, we're going to go this way, and we're going to go this way. Okay, so we've seen this in the past with other blockchains. We saw Ethereum Classic fork after the DAO event. We've seen other chains fork off of Bitcoin as well. Some people are like, hey, are we going to do this? Can we get free coins? All this kind of stuff. So I'm leaning on the side of that we won't see a major chain fork. I could be wrong about that. It's really hard to tell, but I'll tell you some reasons why. So some people think it's going to happen. I just think that there's so much stuff built on top of Ethereum right now that also have like centralized counterparts like USDC, for example. So USDC is a stable coin, fiat-backed stable coin, and people have to redeem their coins somewhere. And they're not going to redeem them on both, right? They're not going to redeem two sets of coins. Exchanges aren't necessarily going to instantly support two different blockchains. They have to decide which Ethereum are we going to let people deposit and withdraw from. So there's so many centralized decision makers essentially that get to vote in either direction on which chain they're going to honor. And I think most people are just going to go with Ethereum 2.0. And so if that's the case, why do you want to mine a chain people don't use? Maybe the underlying cryptocurrency will still be valuable. Maybe there will be other decentralized applications built on top of it that are still valuable. And maybe a lot of the more centralized applications won't be supported. They'll just be ghost towns. It's possible. We could see that. I mean, if it does happen, I mean, I still plan on holding Ethereum all through that period, or Ether. And so if it does happen and I get double coins, then hey, I'll be happy. But yeah, I mean, but if that were to happen, just think through it. Like, okay, the chain forks. I now have 2 coins. If I'm gonna make a big bet on the coins that I think are valuable, which is gonna be ETH2 coins. And on the old ETH, what do I probably want to do? I probably instantly want to trade my coins for something stable, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, now I have all this extra stuff. I want to reduce myself to volatility, so I trade it. But what do I trade it to? USDC? What if Coinbase doesn't let me redeem my USDC on the old chain, right? So what if I go over to DAI? What if DAI stops working on the old chain? And what if basically, the price on the old chain, it has a different exchange rate, than the new Ethereum, right? There's just so many problems. But this is a really common question. Some people think this all the time. They think like, hey, what's going to happen with this fork? We're going to get free coins. We're going to have 2 chains. I don't really know, to tell you the truth, but those are reasons why I doubt that we will. But I could be wrong. Somebody says, wow, there's frenzy for Doge. That's a good question. So Doge is definitely a meme coin. I think Doge is fine. I think it's it's fun, but people have to know it's fun. I mean, I don't like to give financial advice, but am okay cautioning people like don't gamble your life savings on Doge. Just don't do it. That's financial advice that I'm okay giving. All right, let's actually see if we can find any info on the coin listing here. So I'll see if I can pull up the data for coin. It says data is currently unavailable. Yeah, I don't think we go live just yet. I don't know if they would have the price listed on there yet. Somebody says market is rug pulling. So yeah, let's go back and check. Look here. Somebody says Doge is definitely not a meme coin. Somebody says, are there too many unknowns to say when ETH 2.0 might come? I would say so. We don't have a firm date. I know it's a pretty unsatisfying answer. There's lots of reasons people ask that question though. I think they ask it for 3 reasons. One, they want to know, when is Ethereum going to get faster and cheaper to use? Well, that's going to happen a lot sooner with layer 2 scaling solutions. Some people say, like, when's it going to get here because they think a competitor is going to come in and take over. Well, the competitors have the same problem that Ethereum does. They have to build something better than ETH 2.0 in the same amount of time. Which is really hard to do. But then they also have another problem of actually getting the apps and users that Ethereum has today, which is also an insanely hard problem. And then the last big reason is they need it for validation of the technology itself. Basically, is Ethereum actually going to work long term? Are people shipping? Are they doing what they say they're going to do? I think you're still going to get that with layer 2 and watching the ETH2 developments roll out. I guess another reason too is for proof of stake. People want to know, when can they withdraw their staking rewards? Well, that's probably going to happen a lot sooner too. I think the merge, I've seen floating around online that the merge is being prioritized. Somebody says Doge is useful in that it can be used to transfer large amounts of currency with very low transaction fee. Yeah, I still wouldn't want to put large amounts of currency in Dogecoin though. You have to understand about the security of the blockchain itself. Like, I wouldn't trust the security of the Doge blockchain. And also, if you store large amounts of money in Doge in a super, super, super highly volatile currency like that, like, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you see the same thing for Bitcoin, Ether, all that kind of stuff. But I would be careful before I take Doge too seriously. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so more people can learn about blockchain. If you like these videos, you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, and you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You go to my YouTube homepage. You find any of my free courses there. You like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. You like those? You want to take the next step? Or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely? I should become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, you have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. All right, so that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.